Man, it's already Homestead weekend. It is that time of the year, that final race of the 2019 NASCAR season. Homestead Championship weekend. Of course, this will be the last Homestead Championship weekend, with the championship race moving to Phoenix ISM, whatever people want to call it, next year, and Homestead moving to the start of the year. Maybe with Homestead being early in the season at the start of April, maybe then Kyle Larson can finally win at Homestead. But either way, with this being said, we have 3 championship series up for grabs. We got 3 title fights. Let's go through all 3 title fights and see who the final 4 for each are. Starting off with trucks. So here we are. Here are your trucks final 4. We got Brett Moffitt, Stuart Friesen, Matt Crafton, and Ross Chastain. So let's go through all 4 of these drivers. So starting off with Brett Moffitt, he enters this year as the reigning Truck Series champion. You know, he was really solid. He won 2 races in the Truck Chase this year, 4 races in total. You know, his only 2 wins in the Truck Chase came in round 1 at Bristol and Canadian Tire. Hasn't done much since, but he was able to get enough points to move all the way to the Final 4 and stay out of trouble. He's done really well at that. Like, he really hasn't had the speed. He didn't have the speed until he got the Iowa win after Ross Chastain got himself disqualified. But hey, he's respectable in his own right. So Brett Moffitt, he's one of the favorites. He's been one of the better drivers on mile and a half this year. Can he get it done one more time? We'll have to see. Stuart Friesen, the Canadian, he enters this year not as a road course runner. He enters as one of the hottest drivers in the Final 4. He has 2 wins this year. Came in Eldora, and he won last week at Phoenix to get in. So he builds that momentum from Phoenix to carry over to Homestead. Overall, with Friesen, he hasn't really looked solid. As of late, he hasn't looked solid on the mile and a half, but you know, with this being the highest finisher wins the title, maybe Friesen could shock the world and win the title and finish higher than the other 3. You got Ross Chastain, who's run every truck race this year, but like a third of them were only for points because he went the first 6-7 races without points before declaring he was going to go for the truck title. Like, he didn't declare for it until he won the Kansas truck race. Then he went on. And then Chastain went on a tear. Like, he's been solid all year. Chastain got in, taking advantage of Austin Hill's misfortunes and Tyler Ankram's misfortunes, and was able to get himself into the Final 4. So Ross Chastain, he has the truck and he has the talent to get it done. But can he get it done? And then finally we get to Crafton. Matt Crafton? Crafton hasn't shit the bed yet in the chase? My God, that is a shock. You know, Crafton was able to point his way throughout the chase without winning a race. But, you know, even then, you know, I'm still not sold on Matt Crafton. He just hasn't had the speed all year. And it's just showing up now in the chase. But maybe he could shock the world. But yeah, those are your final 4 for trucks. Now the question out of these 4 is, who will win it all? So this is a very tough one. You know, I don't think Matt Crafton wins it. He just hasn't had the speed all year. I haven't been sold on him. I feel like he's going to shit the bed at Homestead. So I got Crafton out. You know, with Ross Chastain, it would just end up being another Kyle Busch 2015 situation. He'd be a controversial Truck Series champion. Even though he's run every race in trucks this year. But he didn't declare for points till after the Kansas win. So yeah, like a third of, but he missed. So yeah, he didn't get points in a third of the races. But you know, it is what it is if he wins. You know, Stuart Friesen, he's good on the short tracks, but he hasn't been solid on mile and a half. So he just hasn't had enough to get it done. Like, if this championship race took place at Phoenix, I would have Friesen as a shoo-in for the title. But, you know, I'm just not sold. So with all that being said, the only driver in the Trucks Final 4 that makes sense and deserves the title is the reigning champ Moffitt. And I say for the first time in the Chase Grid's history, we are going to have a back-to-back champion. I say Brett Moffitt will win his second straight Truck Series title. So yeah, I'm going to take Brett Moffitt to go back-to-back. Give me Moffitt in this one. But yeah, that's the trucks. So now, let's move on to Xfinity. So here are the Xfinity Final Four on the screen. We have Christopher Bell, Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick, and Justin Allgaier. So yeah, this is a really good Final Four. The best Final Four that can put on a really good show. So Christopher Bell, he's been the best car throughout the season. I mean, 8-9 wins, that speaks for itself. He's been really solid on every type of track. He's been good on short tracks. He's been good on mile and a halves. He's been good on road courses. He's been good everywhere except super speedways. So, Christopher Bell has it all. He has the speed. He has everything. But can he put it all together for one race? And this will be Christopher Bell's last race as a full-time Xfinity competitor, with Christopher Bell moving up to the Cup Series next year to drive the 95 for Levine Family Racing. So you got that added pressure to Christopher Bell entering Homestead. But can Christopher Bell get it done at Homestead? Let's check the other three first. So Cole Custer, he's been the second best driver behind Christopher Bell. You know, Custer, he's been good on mile and a halves. He's been good on short tracks. Road courses, not as much. He's been okay on super speedways and flats. So, but Custer has always been one, at least right there with Christopher Bell, or one step behind. Like Cole Custer, he has the speed and the team to get it done. And he doesn't have that pressure of moving up the Cup Series next year. So that's one advantage Custer has over Christopher Bell. And Custer does have a win at Homestead before, and he's been really good the last couple years at Homestead. But can Custer do it one more time and have history repeat itself? We'll have to see. Tyler Reddick, he is the reigning champion this year. The reigning defending Xfinity champion. In the 2-car, he's looked a lot better this year than he did in his title year last year. You know, he's got 4 wins this year. His title year, he had 2 wins, including Homestead last year to win the title. You know, Reddick's been the third best at the top of the big 3 in Xfinity. You know, he mainly took advantage of, say, you know, Christopher Bell and Cole Custer's misfortunes, or both of them shooting themselves in the foot. Tyler Reddick was there to take advantage. Like, Tyler Reddick has proved he is a worthy Xfinity champion. He's had a really solid year. Like, he's been the best driver throughout the season. But, you know, can he get it done at Homestead again? You know, he did it last year in a Junior Motorsports car. Can he get it done in an RCR car? We'll find out. And finally, Justin Allgaier. Man, it's about time Allgaier got a win this year. Allgaier comes in with the most momentum, winning last week at Phoenix. You know, it's great to see Allgaier finally get a win this year after he just been fucked over by bad luck or shooting himself in the foot. Like, Jesus Christ, he should have at least 6-7 wins this year, but he's been fucked over by so much bad luck, it's ridiculous. But yeah, Allgaier, is he getting hot at the right time? You know, last year Allgaier was a favorite to win the title, and he didn't even make the Final Four. This year, Allgaier's a dark horse contender. Could he fly under the radar and shock everybody? We'll have to see. Now the question is, who will win it all? Like, this has been a really stacked Final Four in Xfinity. Like, you can make a strong argument for all 4 of these on why they could win the title. So, yeah, this is a really tough one to call. It could go either way for all 4. Like, these 4 are going to put on quite a show in the Final for the Xfinity at Homestead. It's going to be a really entertaining Xfinity race. That's all I can say for that. You know, it's a tough one. You know, I don't see Reddick winning at Homestead again. I think this year you're going to have to win the race to win the title. I don't see Reddick getting it done this year. Allgaier, I feel like Allgaier's going to get fucked over by bad luck again. So I really think it's going to come down to Christopher Bell and Cole Custer. But in the end, you know, we've seen one of the best drivers throughout, well, the best driver throughout the year has been, it's a tough one. But, you know, I feel like with the pressure of Christopher Bell moving up the Cup, I don't think Christopher Bell gets it done. So with all that being considered, it's a tough one. It could go either way, but I'm going to say Cole Custer is going to come through, and I say Cole Custer will win the 2019 Xfinity Championship. So yeah, give me Custer in this one. It's a tough one. It could go either way. It's either going to be Custer or Bell. It's really tough. But yeah, with that being said, now we get to the main event, the Cup Series Final Four. So here is the Cup Series Final Four. We have Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin. Or in this case, it's Harvick versus Joe Gibbs Racing. Man, talk about the odds being against you in this one. Let's go through all four of them. So, let's go through all three Gibbs drivers. So, in the chase, it was mainly between two drivers battling for who should be the number one driver at Joe Gibbs Racing. Truex made his case early, winning the first two races of the chase at Richmond and winning at Las Vegas. And then Truex would finally break through and win at Martinsville in round 3. So Truex has the speed to get it done. He's won, I think it's 7 or 8 times this year. I think it's 7. Yeah, 7 times. Been really solid this year. Denny Hamlin has 6 wins this year. He won at Kansas in the chase in the second round to move on and that double overtime thrower. He also moved on to Phoenix to knock Joey Logano out. And by the way, regardless of who wins, we are guaranteed a new champion with Logano not even being in the Final Four this year. So yeah, Hamlin did everyone a favor by knocking Logano out with his win. So yeah, and Kyle Busch, he was one of the strongest cars during the season. He won 4 of the first 14 races. But ever since that Pocono win, Kyle Busch has fallen way off. He's been well under the radar. Like, he has taken a turn for the worse. It's been pretty irrelevant as of late. But Kyle Busch had a gazillion chase points and was able to point his way to the Final Four once again. So, yeah. Kyle Busch has that there. But can Kyle Busch shock everybody and then show up out of nowhere? Like, it's sort of looking like the 2015 title because Kyle Busch, he was pretty irrelevant in the 2015 title throughout the chase. Was able to do enough to point his way to each round. And then at Homestead, he came up out of nowhere and won the race. I don't know, it's sort of looking like it's building up to that again. But can Kyle Busch do it again? We'll have to see. And then we get to Kevin Harvick, the closer. Man, Harvick should have a lot more wins this year, but at the first half of the year, Harvick had to deal with the new Ford Mustang body, trying to figure it out. The struggles of it. And then add on top of that, Harvick also finding ways to shoot himself in the foot repeatedly. At the start of the year, finding ways to cost himself win after win after win. Becoming the choker. But then the second half of the year, Harvick turned it up. He won 3 of the final 8 races entering the chase. Entered the chase as one of the hottest drivers. He was pretty consistent in pointing his way through each round. Harvick was able to get that much-needed win to move on to the Final Four at Texas again. I mean, is Harvick getting hot at the right time? Like, we've always talked about that the chase is all about getting hot at the right time. Could Harvick be getting hot now? That's going to be tough to say, but we've seen Harvick cost himself race after race. Like, this is a really good Final Four. A really good one, too. So, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick. 3 drivers looking for their second title. 1 driver looking for his first. Who will win in this arena? Who will win? Into the arena of death we go. So for the Cup Series Final Four, it's always hard to predict. Let me put this in perspective. The only time entering Homestead I ever got the champion right was 2014 with Harvick. Because 2015 I picked Gordon. Let me go through my picks. 2014 Harvick won. 2015, I had Jeff Gordon. He lost. 2016, I had Carl Edwards. He lost. 2017, I had Kyle Busch. He lost. 2018, I was jinxing Kyle Busch. It was actually more so Truex, and Truex lost. So, it's a tough one to call. I'm only 1 for 5 in this. So, looking at this Final Four, Kyle Busch has been pretty irrelevant. I think Kyle Busch is going to have a card that's going to contend throughout the race. But I feel like more bad luck and misfortune is going to hit Kyle Busch and end his hopes at another title. Kevin Harvick, we've seen Harvick time and time again cost himself races, and I feel like it's going to happen at Homestead again. So with that being said, I have Harvick out of it as well. I think Harvick goes from closer to choker once again. So I have it down to Hamlin and Martin Truex. This was one I was back and forth on. But then, you know what, I looked at the chase, I looked at the chase and what the trend has been, because usually you want to go with trends on this one. So looking at the trends, the popular trend is that this format has crowned first-time champions almost every year, except 2016 with Jimmy Johnson. Like, it's crowned a first-time champion every year, and Hamlin is the only driver in this Final Four without a championship. And Hamlin right now currently holds one of the biggest legacies of failure in NASCAR with no title. So I've been thinking back and forth, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going for it. I'm taking Hamlin to win the championship. I say Denny Hamlin finally breaks through and gets his first Cup title and ends his legacy of failure. Plus, you look at sports right now, the other popular trend is legacies of failure falling like flies. So you got that going for Hamlin. So I say Denny Hamlin will break through and win at Homestead. Because I think this year you're going to have to win Homestead to win the championship. But yeah, with that being said, I'm going to take Denny Hamlin to win his first Cup title. And he finally breaks through and gets and revenges 2010. But yeah, that's my Cup Final Four. All my Final Four predictions. So my 3 champions are Brett Moffitt, Cole Custer, and Denny Hamlin. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. What are your championship predictions? Let's debate down in the comments. But yeah, that's my Cup Series Final Homestead Championship preview. Good luck to all the fans for all 4 drivers. Best of luck. May the best driver win. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, folks. Hope everyone's a great day, and yeah, peace out.